Sorry.
What's going on, everybody?
What's Gucci?
Welcome back to another episode of From the Big House to the Penthouse, Stories of Addiction and Recovery, with your host, as always, Enrique Ricky Cruz.
And my co-host, Raul Moreno. Sir, man.
What's going on, Ricky?
Oh, shoot, man. It's all you, baby.
Man, how was your Christmas?
Man, it was okay. You know, I was around family. You know, now I know why people say, hey, man, oh, man, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I've got to see all these people. And actually, I love my family, but I can only take so much.
Right.
Yeah. But it was good, man. It was around family. They ate tamales. As you know, I don't eat meat anymore. I don't. So, and I get a lot of flack. Is that the word? Flack over it? Yeah, flack or whatever. So everybody ate tamales. We're Mexican, if y'all didn't know. Yes. Yeah. It's surprising. Yeah. We eat tamales. We eat pozole. Have you ever eaten pozole before? You know what pozole is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it
is. Yeah. Delicious. Yeah. Pozole. You're Mexican. You know what it is.
Soup?
Yeah. Yes. Vegetable soup, Raul. Yeah. Hey, but listen, man, I want to bring something up. We have a special guest today, Raul.
Man.
Yeah. We have our special guest. Would you like to introduce her, Raul?
Sydney. So, Cindy, excuse me. I don't know why I said it. But that's who it is, Ricky.
Cindy,
you've known her for some time.
I've known her for a while. Cindy, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
Cindy, the wonderful Cindy. Cindy, how was your Christmas? We want to know. We want to know how your Christmas was.
Hi, Amber.
I'm interested.
It was good.
Yeah, what did you do?
I got to see my family. My daughter came down. It was just family.
Yeah. Did you eat tamales? This is what I want to know.
I did not, but
no tamales in your life or pozole.
No, I've had tamales, and my stepmom and my stepsisters are Mexican, so I do know more about it than I think. Yeah.
So they broke down. They busted out tamales on Christmas Eve, or no?
They did not.
They did not.
No.
Oh.
But they have.
Got it. So you're familiar with tamales, but not the pozole.
I might have.
I need to talk to you. Yeah.
Is it different than caldo?
It's kind of different. It's a little different. Yes.
What?
Yes. I'm going to have my mom hook it up, man. That way you could take some to your mom and tell them, hey, man, this is what's up from Ricky. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Christmas was good. You spent it with family. You too, Raul, right?
Yeah.
All right.
With family.
No fights, no nothing. Everything was cool. Nobody went to jail, right? Everything was, that was a good Christmas day.
My kids are spoiled. Yeah. So that's how it goes.
Well, awesome. Well, look, man, Cindy. So Cindy, we invited Cindy. Cindy's a friend of mine. I'm going to introduce you, Cindy. I met Cindy in my NA program. She was fabulous. Cindy. She came in there. She was in there when I came in, and quite honestly, I was starting to get clean at the time. So I don't remember a lot of things exactly, the timing, because of my mind, for some reason, as I get cleaner, or more clean time, for some reason, my mind is starting to erase some things, or I'm just forgetting somehow. And when people bring some certain things up, I'm like, oh, okay. But I remember, Cindy, I'm going to tell you the most recent, the memories that I have. Cindy used to refer people to me. Yeah, she referred several clients to me, man. I was like, oh, but she didn't share a whole lot when she went, but when she did, man, I dug her stories, man. And all of a sudden people would be calling me going, hey, I got your number from Cindy. She says that you're a mechanic and you're a pretty good mechanic. I was like, oh man, awesome. And that was very great, Cindy. I really appreciate it. I never had the opportunity. I don't know if I ever took the opportunity to thank you. I really appreciate it. And I was very, very grateful for that, man. So Cindy, tell me, man, how did you end up, I'd like for you to share with us how you ended up coming. How did we end up meeting by you coming to the group, or how did you? Was I there already when you came in, or did you come in before me? Or how did that? Do you remember?
I think you were there, and you just gotten there, and I had just moved into the area, and I was looking for a meeting, and so I came to the group, and I really loved the group, and so I became really involved in the group, and that's how we met. And I remember we did Christmas Zoo Lights. Do you remember that?
That you went to the Christmas lights with Peter and them.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, we did.
You were there.
Yeah, I organized it.
You did. Yes. We'll see how much I remember. I remember it was cold. I remember those. That. Cold.
Yeah. I remember. So
Yeah. That's the old group, man.
Yes,
That's the old
old
group.
group.
That's the group that I remember. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Pat and
Yes,
Pat and Patrick.
yes.
I mean, Peter and Ernesto was there.
Yes.
Yeah, the old gang, like
Yes.
what is the Scooby Doo gang or what do they call it? The old gang.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. So you were there at the Christmas lights at the zoo?
I was.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this. What to me, like for me, I shared this before that I didn't go to the meeting because I was looking for a meeting, just because I went to the meeting because my ex-wife, which we're dear friends today, right? In fact, I was at a party the other day, Saturday or Sunday. We threw a party for my daughter, and my ex-wife was there, and I have a pretty good relationship with her today. We do. We're pretty good friends.
Yeah.
And in fact, my wife and my ex-wife were wearing the same outfit. I don't know how that turned out. You know, I mean, how that worked. I looked at them both. I was like, have y'all been talking? What y'all gonna wear? Yeah. So, and I posted a picture about it. People are like, you're crazy, man. How do you know? But anyway, my ex-wife, I remember she used to drop me off because I lost my license. She used to drop me off at the meeting. She found the meetings for me, and she said, I think you should go to this group, to these meetings. And that's how I started to come. How did that come about for you?
Well, I had been going to another group for several years. I'm not sure exactly how many years I had when I came into our group.
Okay.
But we had just moved into the area, and my significant other was in England working. And so I needed a place to go that was close and local. And so I looked it up, and there was one there at 7:00. And so I went, and like I said, I told my significant other about it. I was like, this meeting is great. I don't know that's a great vibe. You just gotta come. And so he started coming, and then it became a thing, and we just started coming together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both of y'all, you were clean already when you came to the group, to our group?
Yeah.
And was your significant other clean too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We had gotten clean at another, not far.
Right. Nevertheless, y'all were both clean when you
we
came.
Were both clean. We
Okay.
had some time, yeah.
I didn't come clean to the group. I came really dirty. Really dirty. In fact, I'm going to tell you, I remember one of my friends, we'll say his name is David, right? One of my dear friends that when I was in the group, I relapsed. And he used to come looking for me at the shop, in my first shop. And I remember, man, I was high as a kite. I had been going to the group for about 3 months, I think, and or somewhere about 2 or 3 months, and I relapsed. And I guess he saw that I wasn't coming back, and he came looking for me at the shop. And I remember, man, I was high as a kite, and I saw him drive by at that little shop, and I hid behind a toolbox. I was like, please keep going, man. And I remember that, they would like, hey, where did he go or whatever. And I went back to the group, and I went a couple of times high. I went a couple of times to the group high, and I don't know if anybody remembers, I remember that, going back and being high. And then I went through the whole jails and further down.
What brought you to the group? What's your poison?
Well, I'm alcohol. Marijuana, and Adderall were my 3 go-tos. It was always alcohol. Alcohol was my straight. And the other 2 were to not drink alcohol, because every time I drank alcohol, something bad happened. It was pretty much guaranteed.
So did you have that feeling, Cindy, like me? Did you ever have like this feeling? I think I've talked to Raul about it, that sometimes when I used to drink on Friday night, like Friday around 5:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock, there would be like this energy in the air for me. I'm like, I know I'm going to have a couple of beers, but at the same time with that energy, I also felt this eerie feeling that something bad was going to happen too. Did you ever feel that too, or no?
Yeah, for me, it was, okay, I'm not going to get as drunk as I did last time.
Okay.
Or my whole thing was how not to black out. That was the goal.
So did you black out? Did you black out? You used to black out a lot?
Yeah,
You were a
I
blackout
was a
drinker.
blackout drinker.
Really?
Yeah. So
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same way.
anything to do to not black out.
Was that like every time, or just every other time, or just?
It was more times than it wasn't.
Okay.
I mean, it was, you know, it'd be like one day I wasn't. I was like, all right. I mean, and I didn't have one or two. I never had one or two.
Right.
But I had, you know, I don't know. I stopped counting too. So
Right,
let's
right.
just say 4.
Right.
And I was like, all right, okay. That worked out okay. The next day, I checked my car. My car's still there. I looked.
No dents, no nothing.
Dents.
Windshield's
I'm
there.
not in
Yeah.
jail. I'm like, all right, this is good.
Right.
But then the next night, blackout drunk, you wake up with that feeling in your stomach, like, oh my God, what did I do? And then you have to like retrace your steps, and you have to call people and be like, what happened? And then you check social media because you're like, oh shit, what did I put?
Right.
So it's things like that kind of started it.
Mm-hmm. So would you know what, I keep referring back to Raul because him and I have had a lot of conversations. You know, Cindy, I lived with a lot of regret, man, and a lot of, what do you call it, a lot of, during my 20s, early 20s, even my early teens, man, I lived with a lot of shame. A lot of shame. I always had to go apologize to my brothers, my sisters. I offended somebody, you know, I always offended something. I always did something stupid. And I say that the way I live today, man, is so different because, man, to wake up today, Cindy, for me to wake up today every day and just to drink my coffee and not have that regret, man, is so relaxing, so gratifying. So I don't know what the word to put in it.
Serenity.
You know, yes, serenity, something that I wasn't ever used to. I remember. Did you ever have? Let me ask you this, because I felt this as I was getting clean. Probably months into getting clean, I would wake up, Raul and Cindy. I would wake up, and I was living in a little shack behind my dad's house, behind my old shop. And I remember waking up and going, you could hear the birds chirping in the summertime and the sun coming up, and you're going, okay, when is this going to end? And what's fixed? And something wrong is about to happen. And this is not real, right? And I remember calling my sponsor. And him going, Ricky, you have serenity, man. That's what accept it, man. Just accept it. We're used to shit falling apart all the time. We're not used to this. Just start accepting it and enjoying it. Tell me about that part, Cindy, when you started to feel that.
Actually,
what?
Let's go back a little earlier. When was the first time you experimented with alcohol and
So I was 17 years old when I first had a drink, and I'm really just a real alcoholic and addict.
In everything you do, did you feel like that was your personality? Like everything you had to take?
Everything was the extreme. It's like, if I'm gonna go, we're going all the way.
100%.
There was no and it didn't matter what happened in the process. We were just going. So I started at 17, and I wasn't gonna drink. I swore it off before I even started because my parents had been in a program, and so I didn't. It sounded like a scary thing to do, but of course, already I'm defiant, and so me and my friend get some beer or whatever, and she drinks one and thinks it tastes like crap. I drink one, and I'm like, well, it doesn't taste good, but can I have yours?
Yeah, give it to me. Yeah.
And then of course I black out and throw up, and she's busy trying to already.
So you were blacking out even in your teens?
I was a blackout drinker. The first time I drank, I blacked out, and that's how that one went. Yeah.
You're like me then.
Yeah.
We're the same, Cindy.
Yeah.
Fist bumping. Yeah. You're from my tribe, girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then
so, I don't know, at 18, maybe 17 still, I tried marijuana, right? Well, I'm already an addictive personality. And so then I love that. I'm like, that's great. And plus that will help me with not drinking. Cause already.
So you enjoyed marijuana?
I did.
You did? I didn't. Yeah.
See, I did. I did. Too much.
Right.
Yeah, I did. So I did that, and then I would not drink as much, and I was like, well, that's good. At least I'm not blacking out, so we're okay. Right. You're high as a kite and you are completely off your rocker, but that didn't matter because I was like, I could remember what I did.
Of course.
And my friends weren't as mad at me because they didn't have to clean up my vomit or shove me in a closet or make sure I haven't comatose from alcohol poisoning,
So it was a better alternative. Should we say that? It was better. It was things were looking up.
Things were looking up.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. That's
things were looking up. Yeah, that's what we want to. Yeah, that's what we were looking for. Things to look up.
Looking up.
Yeah.
So
say more.
Yeah. So then when I went away to college, and then, back then they hadn't diagnosed me with ADHD, but I went to college
Mhm.
and I was like not being able to
Mhm.
focus.
Mhm.
And so back then, and I'm sure you'll do it, they would sell their pills. And so someone gave me a pill
Mhm.
and I took it. And all of a sudden I could write my paper. I felt great. I was like, this is fantastic.
Really?
I must have ADHD, you know? And so I go to a doctor, they prescribe me.
Wait a minute. Great. You're going fine. But what was that pill? Can we?
Yeah, Adderall.
Oh, it was. Did you know what it was at the time?
Yeah. I knew
Yeah.
it. But back then I didn't know anything about
Okay.
Adderall. Like I didn't.
So with the Adderall, when you took it in college, you got this positive response from it. You could concentrate. You could.
I could. I mean, I could concentrate.
So it wasn't because you got high. It's because it helped you, or would you say it was both?
Well, it was helpful, except the way I took it was not helpful.
Right.
Right. Because I can't take anything.
So you telling me you took one, you took 15 of them, or 3 or 4?
Well, it was one the first night, then I needed 2 the next night. Then if I need to go to the doctor,
right.
Then when I got the doctor, I played the 2 weeks on. Okay, I've got 2 weeks worth of pills because I double up on my pills, and then I'm withdrawing for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I like to take them when I was drinking because then that solved the blackout problem. I could
Sure.
drink as much as I wanted and not black out.
Right.
So win, you know?
Mhm.
So, you know, did it help
Makes
me
sense.
or did it hurt me? For me, it wasn't. There probably could have been. I should have quit drinking then. I was a
Mhm.
raging alcoholic in college. The same. I mean, the pattern.
But in college, Cindy, it doesn't. I mean, I've never been to college, but I mean, I've heard these stories that in college, where everybody gets freaking toasted, man. That it's normal. Isn't that normal in college? I mean, you're just doing what every other college student is doing. Did you think it was normal, or?
I did
Yeah.
until it's bad when the people around you that are drinking a lot are like, you have a problem.
Dude, you need to slow down.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know it's not good when the people around you are
I'm
like,
bad, but you need to slow down,
help,
man.
You know? And
Yeah.
so and
Yeah.
they just got tired of picking up the pieces, and I got tired of waking up in the morning with that horrid feeling
Yeah.
of, oh my God, what happened last night? Then having to run to my friend and then run to my boyfriend and then look at the car and then my
Mhm.
boyfriend tell me what I did. And I had done some crazy thing. I had lost it. I had yelled. One time I threw a drink in his face in front of all of his friends. I mean, it was a nightmare. So they were like, you might have a problem. And so I did. I went to my first meeting.
In your teens?
And when I was 19.
Really?
Yeah, it's taken me.
Wait a minute. You went to a meeting at 19. So somebody told you had a problem. And you said, well, what should I do? Or did somebody say, you might want to go to this place? How did that happen?
So, you know, I call my mom and I'm crying hysterically because I had just thrown a drink in my boyfriend's face and he broke up with me. And I was like,
did he break up with you because of these addict things that were happening, or other reasons?
No, it is, you know, well, first of all, we were in college too, but this time, you know, he was like really, really angry, understandable, you know, and I think he was embarrassed. He was embarrassed.
Okay, right.
You know, he was just
I got the picture. Yes, got it. Yeah.
So I called my mom, and she, you know, she had my parents were in the program. So she was like, well, do you think you have a problem with alcohol? And I'm like, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. And she's like, well, I don't, you know, I only know one thing. And so she took me. But at that point, you know, I go in there and I look and I hear these stories and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not that bad.
Yeah. Who are these people, man? You got a problem.
You have a problem. Fast forward 20 years later, I'm walking in there and I promise you, the newcomer walk in and it's like,
holy shit. I ain't bad as you, man.
Know? So it's like hindsight's 2020, but it's funny that I walked in. Yeah, it turns.
Yeah.
So that's how that started. But it took me a while to actually get it to stick. I mean, how old was I when I came? How old was I? I was like maybe 30.
I don't know.
So it took me my first try till I was about 30 to get it.
Like 10 years?
10 years.
10 years. Yeah, roughly.
Yeah, it took 10 years of a lot of heartache, a lot of pissed off people, a lot of puke all over the place. You know, I mean,
you know, I'm going to tell you, I went to it, and not to interrupt, your story is interesting. I want to share something with you. I went to when I did go to the other fellowship, right? I'm in NA, but I would go to the other fellowship, and I think they're both great.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually work. I don't work both programs, but I've been to the other fellowship, and it's been great to me, man. And there's certain things that I like about it. I like them both. But I remember I used to go to the other fellowship, AA, and man, this lady walked in one. Oh, she was a old timer, and I remember her sharing one time, man, it scared the shit out of me. She said this story where she had shared her story that she went to a party and got so messed up that she she got into an accident, okay, and she didn't realize she had hit something. She thought she hit a dog, right, and got home, put the car in the garage, closed the garage, went into bed, and went to sleep, only to be woken up in the morning by a knock at the door, and it was the police. They come looking for her. She opens the door. She's hung over and whatever, and she when she wakes up, she notices she's got blood on the side, man. And they say, "Ma'am," I don't know, I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said, "Where's your car?" She hit a person, killed
Oh,
him.
shit.
The person was in the car. The person was still in the car. You know what I mean? The person was still in the car in the passenger side, man. And she went through all that and did time in prison. And she shared her story, and I was like, wow.
That's insane.
And
That's
isn't that
crazy.
crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know what made me share that story about drinking and driving, but that
Yeah.
was and she was sharing, she had like, after she got out of prison, she had like, I don't know, she had like 10 or 15 years
Right.
sobriety.
What? So did you have like one oh shit moment, like a wake, like
I've
there's a,
had several oh shit moments, but I'm a hard learner and very stubborn. But yeah, I did. I definitely had a moment when I was like, I cannot do this anymore. The bitter ends is where I was going. And there was just one moment, I guess, of clarity where I was like, I need help. And it was because I remember I had and these are the reasons why I always came back. It's something to do with my children. I had done something to where I felt like I couldn't be a good mom. And so what had happened was, at this point, I have no house. I'm renting a car. My family's not talking to me. My ex-husband had filed a temporary order. I had lost everything. And I called my daughter, and she was having a soccer game, and I'm like, I can't come to your game. And that was a moment when I was like, okay, and now the addiction is going to take my
Why
my
couldn't you
family.
come to the game? Because you were high, or because you'd been using?
Because I was so into the addiction, the lifestyle. I
Mhm.
couldn't. I was using. I was high. I was not.
There.
Well. I was not there, and I
Yeah.
just couldn't. And she makes me cry, but she's like, "It's okay, mom,"
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that was a moment when I was like, I need
Help.
And so I reached out to somebody who was a social worker who I trusted, and I finally was like, I can't do this anymore. This is what's been happening. Please help me. And so I left and went up to Dallas and got into the first thing they took me to was a psychiatric hospital, and the second thing it took me to was rehab. So I did those two things, and then I started going to meetings, and that's kind of how that started.
I see.
And then I came back here and I dug my feet in and was willing to do the work and be honest.
Right. And is that whenever you found the meetings here in Pearland, and shortly after that, when you moved here?
No,
Or that was here?
That was here.
That was here.
So
okay.
I came back because I had been in another fellowship for a while,
Right.
And then I relapsed, and so I went back to where I was. And they welcomed me and they said, "Are you ready? Are you
Right.
willing?" And I said, "Yes,
Yeah.
I am willing. I am desperate for help."
Right. Do you believe that relapse is part of recovery?
It can be and it can't be. I've heard people that only have one sobriety date and they haven't, and that's great for them. And the other people, I don't think it has to be. I don't think it's it isn't, doesn't make you good or bad. I think it's just everyone's
I used to
journey.
man, I changed my mind. I used to say, no, man, it's not part of recovery. Um, if you relapse, you should know better and man. But with time, Cindy, with more time in the program, I don't know if the word being soft, my heart softening for and understanding the disease of addiction. And today, if somebody asks me, is addiction part of recovery? And we all have our opinions and we're entitled to them and we're cool, right? To me today, man, I'm here. I'd like to tell our audience that I think that relapse is part of recovery. I think it just makes us stronger because when you fall and then get back up and get back into the meetings, man. I mean, I want to tell the recovering addict, it's okay. It is okay, man. It's, we're going to love you anyway. You know why? Because you're just like me. And I need that grace that God gives us, right? I need that break. I need you to tell me, look, man, I'm a fuck up, but I'm going to love you anyway, right? We're the beep. Oh. The beep button. I should have told you it was coming, right? Yeah. But there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
All right.
There you go. You guys let them know when you're ready for it, man. Okay. But yeah. But I needed that, man. I needed people to make me feel like, hey, because look, man, don't be ashamed, man, to relapse. Right. Hey, it's okay to fall. What is not okay is not to get the fuck back up. That's not okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's my thought about it. You know what I mean? We got to love everybody back into the rooms, either AA, NA, or BB or CC, whatever it takes, right?
Yeah. John said he loves you. And
there's our mayor, man. What's up, Mayor John? We know him as Plumber John, but now he's Mayor John. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Cindy.
So
say hello to John, Cindy.
Hi, John.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So do you consider alcohol a drug?
I do.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Do you consider alcohol a drug?
For me. Now, for some people, maybe not, but for me, it's definitely a drug.
Dude, it's definitely a drug.
Yeah.
That's what kept me relapsing, man, was alcohol.
And what did you believe that that addiction is a family disease?
So I think it can be like, there's nurture and nature, right? And I think if you're born with families that have that in their history, so you've got that and you're not in the nurturing aspect of it, then you're going to have it. But maybe if you have a family that isn't an alcoholic addict but you don't get the nurture, you may not. So I think it just kind of goes hand in hand. It depends. It's like, did the chicken or the egg come first? I don't know.
Yeah. That's I've always had that issue with me. It was your story. I don't know.
You can relate.
I relate to your story like 100% because of everything. I was a blackout drunk and I didn't know how to just have one. I didn't know how to have just two because I wanted them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You too?
Yeah.
You too?
Yeah. So that's yeah. So I don't know what to say. Go ahead, Ricky.
You wanted it all. Yeah, it wasn't just one or two. Yeah. You wanted them all. You could relate to her. I see that you're every time she's sharing stuff, your wheels are turning. It's like you're identifying with a lot of things that Cindy's saying. Is it something about that because you identify as an alcoholic too, don't you?
Right, I do.
And so does Cindy. And I identify as a drug addict. And I'm going to tell you why. I identify as a drug addict, even though alcohol, Cindy and Raul, alcohol had been a problem to me since I was a young guy in my teens. Dude, I remember in my teens, and it's funny you share that about you and your teens because I thought I was the only one that felt that way in my teens, man. I blacked out too with alcohol. Of course, I wasn't introduced to cocaine until I was probably in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something, man. When I found cocaine, I found the love of my life. I found the love of my life. And I'm going to tell you something else. When I smoked it for the first time at 23, that was everything to me. everything to me. Now at 23, I didn't have much to lose, right? I didn't have a whole lot of, when I say that, I say it because I didn't have a whole lot of material things. Now I was on the street, right? I hit the street for several months. Not until I was when I turned my early 40s that I really get hooked up again with crack cocaine. And then, man, that was the big one for me. That was the big one. But yeah, I identify because every time that I have said to myself that I'm not gonna use cocaine anymore, it always started with that one drink. When I changed the way I feel with that, with the alcohol, once it was something about that damn alcohol that once I felt that change, man, it would even that was saying, no, man, I'm not gonna do no coke. I'm just not gonna do it, man.
Just change your mind,
Dude,
frame,
and just
yeah.
that one drink,
Yeah.
the first, dude, I'm gonna tell you something. Forget the drink, forget finishing that beer, man. Just by the third or fourth, man, it was I already knew it was in the bag. You know what I mean? And then man, it just would go down here from there. And there I was again at the races, man. So alcohol, yeah, for me.
Do you worry about addiction when it comes to your kids?
You know, they're very they know they don't know everything, you know, but my kids have seen me well or in recovery, and they've seen me not well in recovery. Because when I first got into recovery, my kids were little, you know, the little one had no recollection of what, you know, had happened.
Right.
My older one kind of knew, but she was too young. But this time around, my kids were old enough, you know, to see it. So do I worry it runs in the family? And I, you know, yes and no. You know, my oldest has started, you know, she started to drink occasionally. And that's, you know, that's okay. But, you know, I warn her, you know, I'm like, listen, you know, just know this runs in the family. But, you know, their upbringing was different.
But did your mom have that talk with you about it running in the family? Because didn't you share that your mom and dad were recovering alcoholics?
Yeah. So they both were in the program, and they were recovering alcoholics. And, you know, they did, but I never saw them.
Did they have a talk with you though?
You know, they kind of were like, I was this, you know, you shouldn't do it. They scared me. It was, they kind of tried to scare me into not drinking. And so I was very, very scared until one day I wasn't scared. I don't know just how that worked. One day I wasn't scared. So, you know, do I worry about it sometimes, but they also have gotten, you know, counseling. They've got, you know, a different, their family dynamics were different than my family dynamics. So they've got different things. They've got some good things working for them, you know, and they're smart and so, you know,
You talk about your kids or your parents?
My kids.
Your kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you at all miss it?
No.
And no urges?
I don't have any urges, and I do not miss it. It got so bad for me that I don't miss it at all.
Alcohol.
Yeah. I don't know. Now it took, when I got back in, it took me several months before I was okay. I mean, even when I was getting sober, I was not well. It took me a while for the insanity to stop.
You know, I'm gonna confess something to y'all. Okay.
You still crazy?
Well, yeah. That's not a confession, man. I think everybody knows that already with that. But you know, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It's I don't have urges, but I fantasize. Is that the same? Would it be different? I fantasize sometimes about using.
Fantasize
If I could use
dream.
No. I don't. You know what? I actually had a using dream about, and I don't know if I told anybody. Probably about 2, 3, maybe a month ago, 2, 3 weeks, maybe a month ago, I had a using dream. It was really weird, but I don't.
Did you wake up thinking, "Oh shit"? Or...
Yes, I did. I woke up just going, "Holy shit, man! Did I really use?" But you know, and then I realized it was a dream.
Yeah.
But it was so real, man. But here's the thing: the question was, I saying, I don't crave it. I don't crave drugs or alcohol, but I fantasize about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? I fantasize. about, hey, I wonder, man, if one day, maybe later on when I'm about, what am I, 52 now? I'm an older guy. When I'm 70, I'm wondering if I could, just smoke a joint. You know what I mean? I was, because to me, really pot, I don't, like I expressed earlier, I didn't really like pot. I didn't like going down. I didn't like being, I would get paranoid. So I really wouldn't like, I don't even know why I smoked it so much, when I was younger.
What we were talking about offline was like, it was the alcohol, which is a downer, the pot, which is a downer, and then the Adderall is upper.
Yeah.
Seemed like a good plan.
Yeah, right. It was good. I know that's right.
Thought I
For
balanced
real.
it all out. So surely everything's
That's what,
okay.
and I had we have a friend of ours in the program, Andre. He used to say, hey man, that I used to want to get these drugs and just tweak them just right. You know what I mean? I remember, and I used to like, no shit. Yes, I would, because you drink the alcohol and then you take a little blow and then you take a couple of Vicodins, and you just want to get that fix just right. And you could never just get it right. You know what I mean? Never. It was crazy the way a lot of us share things and we could, relate to, because I'm going to tell you something, dude. I remember with Vicodin, I ended up loving Vicodin. I found out that I don't remember what hurricane it was. It was coming into town, and I had hurt my finger or something, and but the doctor had given me some Vicodin, and when I took them, I mean, it's like the flowers came out. There was butterflies and unicorns and rainbows and all kinds. I mean, it was beautiful. I remember, wow. I mean, it was just like nobody could do no harm. So of course, the addict in me, if I took one or two, man, I started to take like 5, 6, 7. Then I went to they called those green ones. I forget what they're called. Loracets. I went to those, man. They were stronger. And man, that's when I would stay up all night doing blow. And then in the morning to stay up with coffee, I would take some Loracets with coffee. And that's how thought I was functioning, going to work. And I could just imagine what kind of shit show I was having going on at the shop when I was using, you know what I mean?
What do you think you'd be doing right now if it wasn't for recovery?
I think I'd be dead.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dang, that's I think the answer for 99% of the people.
Of course, man.
I think I'd be the same way. I think either I'd be deceased or I'd be in prison. You know what I mean? And neither one of those sound good.
I'm gonna ask Cindy a question. Cindy, let me ask you this. What I heard one time when I went into the last rehab, the one I was forced to go by the judge. Judge Sebesta, by the way, if you're out there, man, he saved my life by putting me in jail. It's weird. I'm gonna never say you saved my life by going to jail, man. And sending me to rehab.
It's crazy that his judge and his it's a probation officer.
My probation officer and my judge. Yeah, they watch the show. Yeah. Well, my ex, she's not my probation officer anymore. She's my dear friend. We became great friends, man. Yeah, Miss Andrews. Oh man, her and we have some history. I'm gonna tell you, we've gone through some shit together.
What was the question? I didn't mean.
I forget. I don't remember. Man, what was I saying? What was it? Do you remember, Cindy? What was the? I remember the question now. Check this out.
What would you be doing now? But then I don't
know. Check this out. I walked into rehab, right, and the first day I was there. There was a question. It brought a question out for me that I want to ask you.
Right.
That they asked me. I remember Lance was the house manager, and I remember we're in the room, this big room where we gathered to have meetings. He says, "I want to ask y'all something," and then I'm going to ask you, Cindy, if you could use alcohol today with no consequences, right? No consequences. In other words, you're not going to have a blackout tomorrow. You're going to wake up tomorrow and everything, the butterflies are going to be flying. There's going to be fucking rainbows and unicorn farts and all kinds of shit like that. If everything would be great, would you drink today? No consequences, nothing.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
You think so? Yeah. It's a legitimate question. Yeah.
Well, like if you knew how, I'm assuming. Is that what you mean? If you knew
if you knew how, if you could use, if you use without no, if you were a regular person, I mean, you're a regular person one way or the other, but I
Every-
mean, you know,
every-
yeah.
God, it's such a scary question to me.
It is.
Actually.
It is.
Because I don't. What all I can think about now is hell no.
The effect.
The effect. You know, maybe when I was a kid, if I would have stuck to the I'm not gonna drink, you know, I don't know, because I don't know what that's like. So the thought of being able to do that normal doesn't even sound like that.
That's a great answer.
That's the thing is, I never understood people like how they go to a bar and they can have a few and then go home. I don't understand that. That's never been normal to me. Me was, you know, blackout drunk.
Right.
And it's been that way since I can remember. And
but we have the answer now. The thing is we're not like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the beauty about this is the beauty about getting to know ourselves, Cindy and Raul, getting to learn about ourselves. This is I am so grateful. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know about y'all, but I have embraced the hard times I have been through, man. I really have, because it has made me I'm not a great person. I mean, I'm not the person, you know, I'm not the exact, I'm never going to look in the mirror and go, oh, you're fucking perfect. No, I've accepted that too. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm a lot better off than I used to be, man. I do sincerely think that I'm a better person today. I'm going to tell you why, man, because I do have more empathy. Empathy.
Yeah. Empathy.
Am I saying it right?
You're saying it right.
You're saying it right.
Towards people, man. I practice. I give people grace. You know, when they make a mistake, I just like, and I teach my, you know what, Cindy, you know what's beautiful for me, man, is to be able to take the time to sit down with my children when they want my time, my attention, and they need my advice as a father, where I could stop that freight train that's going on in my life, and we'll go into somewhere, we'll sit down and I'll talk to them, and we'll talk about things and we'll cry together. I'm not afraid to cry today.
No, I love the fact that you're so close with your kids.
I'm very close with them, man. In fact, my relationship just keeps getting better with them. And it's all due to me it's all due, Cindy, to all the hard times I went through, because I mean, all the pain that I experienced, I don't want my children to experience. And so I have a new outlook on how to help them, man, because you know what? I've been there. I've suffered. And the people that were patient with me and loved me and talked to me, and talking to my sponsor late at night, and I'm able to cry with him cry with me. Like when I confessed with him, not confessed to him, but I told him that my father died from cancer. And when he was going through chemotherapy, his cancer had come back, man. And when I remember sharing that, he was the first person I called, man. And he started crying right there and then. I said, man, this guy really cares about me, and he cares about my feelings and the love that I have for my father. I remember that clearly, you know, and that's the part that I love about the program and being clean today, man, is the love. And I mean, man, my daughters, my kids, and my relationship has man taken such a turn, and it's all because I'm clean. I'm clean today. And I have my ex-wife and I's relationship is pretty good too, you know, and I'm able to listen, man, I'm able to put my ex-wife and my current wife in the same room. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people can say that, you know, and I've got
99% of the people probably can't say that.
No. And hey, that's true. And I'm going to tell you something else, that with all clarity, and my wife knows that I have no sexual whatever towards my ex-wife. I have no, you know, what do you call it? No, what's the word? I have nothing, no interest, you know, sexual interest in my ex-wife. There was a thing there. We were married. We had beautiful children. And now I can be an adult and have a friendship relationship with her. And I do. I've told my wife that I care about my ex-wife as a person, and as being the mother of I think that's growth. Would you say that's a little growth?
Yeah.
And I'm not just growing sideways anymore, man. Just maybe growing spiritually, right? Yeah. Share with us the relationship with your kids today, Cindy. I'd like to hear that.
Well, you know, my kids, it's good. Being present is so important. And, you know, being able to just spend time together, and them knowing, you know, my true self, and being able to feel again and laugh and cry over good stuff, you know? I mean,
over good stuff. Yeah, no shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Over good stuff.
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's amazing. And it's building, you know, it's growing throughout the months, the days, you know, and it's not, it's not maybe how I expected it, but I don't know what God has to say. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's going really great now. And, I can call my kid and she calls me and we talk and I see my kids and I can go on the swings with them and we can swing and we can celebrate holidays and we can make cookies and we can do all these things that, I've always wanted. And, my mom was a great mom, but I can also do the things that she didn't
do with
me,
you,
right?
Right.
Not because she couldn't or wouldn't. It's just that she did the best she could. She wasn't her strong suit,
right.
With upcoming holidays like New Year's and things like that, does that put fear in either one of you? Like, because I know New Year's is surrounded. It's more of a drinking,
right.
type
Festive drinking and all that stuff. Yeah.
Does that ever worry you? Like, do you ever? Does it?
Does it work?
I don't know if worry. I don't know how I'm asking the question, but
at first I'm like, what do you do? Like, because that's just like notorious for drinking. Like, that's you drink, and that was like the time I could get completely shit canned and nobody would say anything because we were all shit canned.
Everybody's the same.
Everyone's shit canned, and so it was one night where I blended in. So it doesn't really worry me. I just am having to learn new ways to celebrate. And I'm kind of learning. I've been to dances before. I've hung out with friends before. I've, hung out with my kids, that's things that I've done when I've been sober.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we build a new life, man. We learn a new way to live.
A new way to live.
And then I've accepted me. If I'm going to answer that too, for me, no, I don't worry anymore. I don't worry because I despise alcohol, man. I hate what it did to me in my life. I hate what it did to me, the person that it turned me into. I hate the father that I became. I hate the brother that that I became to my siblings. I hate the son and that I was to my parents. It did a lot of negative things in my life, and I don't miss it at all, man. And those, see, I used to, Cindy, and I don't know how anybody runs their program, but I'm starting to run my program differently. I've shared before that I used to run my program of Narcotics Anonymous with pain and fear, which a lot of people I heard do, and a lot of people don't. By doing step work, you get out of the pain and the fear and start getting that relief that by following a higher power and feeling that sense of hey, I'm gonna be okay, man, no matter what, I'm gonna be fine, and I'm working in my way. I'm actually getting closer to a guy that I've already asked him if we could date. We could date.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna ask him. What do you think about a guy like girl? And what's it like that Dumb and Dumber? What do you think about a girl like me and a guy like you? No, I reached out to him, man. I reached out to this guy, man, to be my sponsor, and I'm actually I took the I called him and I told him that I needed help, man. I needed somebody to help me. I reached out for help. I finally, took that plunge, man. And he's like, call me, man. And you know what I did? I didn't call him. I didn't call him. Right. I didn't call him, man. It's still hard for me to reach out. But and then he came, and then he shows up. He showed up here. In fact, I'm going to tell you, he picked up Sunday. He picked up 31 years.
31.
He picked up 31 years, that's man. Amazing. Yeah. And he came by today, by the way. He came by today and we talked for a little while. And he's actually, and we're going to get together this weekend.
We we
have questions or something?
We just got someone made a statement. They said, thank you very much. Karen, so much for sharing your story. Guys, I'll see you next week. Y'all put into what? I'm sorry.
You read it, Cindy.
Yeah, and giving back to others in recovery.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Thank y'all for all the work you put into this and giving back to others in recovery.
All right, Carrie.
Yeah,
right.
Gotta
we
get
need
to
see you the meeting, man. We need to see you. Is she coming?
Yeah.
Is she coming next Wednesday or what?
Oh no, well, she's going to a meeting and she'll see us next Wednesday. As in,
Oh, the
yeah,
show.
yeah, on the
Right.
show.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
All
And
right.
I don't know why that sounded all kinds of craziness to me. But man, what's it? Spirituality. How much did
Oh,
that
that's a
play a
good
part?
one.
That's a
That's
good
a
one.
good
Yeah.
one.
That's good.
Okay.
How did that play a part in your recovery?
So I grew up religious. So
Mhm.
like when I first got, clean and sober, you talk about God. I'm like, that's fine. Great. I can do God, right? But as, I learn and I think, it's about trusting God
Mhm.
and making a decision to turn my will over. And
Mhm.
that was hard. I was like, yeah, well, I don't know about the God thing if that's what I've got to do, and so it's been a process of growing and build. I've never been good at building relationships. I've destroyed every relationship I've ever had.
You too?
I'm notorious for that.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
here's a good relationship. Watch how I burn it down. And so even with, my relationship with my higher power, it's an ongoing thing. And as time progresses and now I have to constantly work and seek it, to be able to get it. But spirituality, has become more and more and more readily accessible to me. It's like,
Mhm.
you work if it works it. So God
Yeah.
would if he were sought. If I seek it, the spirituality comes. And then I'm finding when the spirituality comes, there's that sense of peace, the sense of serenity, the
Mhm.
sense of calm that I so desperately wanted. And I know how to handle things that I used to not be able to handle,
Right.
Like things that used to baffle me. I had no concept and now I can do. And I sometimes you ever like spiritual highs. You ever been on like a spiritual high where you had like just a moment
Inner
and
peace.
yeah, but you feel connected
Yeah.
and like you're just like you're on fire and you feel God. Those are I crave those moments.
Mhm.
Because I'm an addict.
Mhm.
I crave anything that
Mhm.
changes the way I feel, and having spirituality changes the way I feel, but in a good, healthy
So,
way.
do you think on that relationship that you've had with a God of your understanding, do you ever have you ever felt like you're like, did you disappointed him? And
Yes.
yes, and
Yes.
what do you and in that case, what have you done? Tell us about what you think you've done to disappoint your, God, and how you fixed. If you ever did, you even try to fix that relationship, or how you went
Well,
about it?
when I came back in, I was sure God hated me. Like I was not lovable.
Why? Because you relapsed,
It,
or
it was my relapse, my behavior, what had
okay,
happened, what had transpired. The life that I had been, living, and there was no way he was going to forgive me.
Mhm.
So with that, I did feel a lot of shame
Mhm.
and guilt. And, I finally, we talk about the 4-step or the 5th step, one day I just told God everything, even though he already knew. I
Right.
just told him everything. And, it was like a moment of there where I felt some peace where, I'm a child of God too. I'm a human. I make mistakes. I learn from him. He's there. If I keep trying to do the next right thing, it will. He'll be there. He's
Right.
always there. So yeah, there was a lot of shame and regret, and like I had let down everybody, including myself. So yeah.
Have you ever had those moments, Cindy, of where you've asked for things, let's say to God, and that all of a week or 2 weeks later, you're going, "Hey, man, I remember going, man, I wish this could happen, or I wish that could happen," and then you go on about your life, and all of a sudden, boom, it happens. You're like, "It has to be God, man." Have you ever
Right.
had that feeling?
Yes. Like
You've
there's
had that?
things
Share that with us.
well, there's things that I prayed for last year that I wouldn't even imagine that I would have this year.
Mhm.
Like the time
It
with
wasn't a
my
bike or anything, right?
No, it
No,
was the
okay.
time with my family. It was the sense of peace, getting back, my job was good, but like the feeling I wanted to have peace and serenity
You've
and be
experienced
and
that.
yeah, and have
Yeah.
a
That's a great
place
feeling.
to live and like be able to have my kids come over and that
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my God, thank you, God, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to share something with you. One time I was when I remember sharing with my group that losing my children, my girls, my two, especially Ricky and Chrissy, losing them and not being able to have them under my roof, right? When I had them under my roof, Cindy, I used to put them to bed, right? And they belonged to me. I do, they were mine. And when I went through what I went through, the state of Texas said, you're not responsible enough to see them alone. You know what I mean? They're like, to me, they told me, oh, this is what I heard. You're a freaking loser. You're not responsible, and we don't trust you with your own children. You're not trustworthy. So you have to go to this. I had to go to this, like a house, some kind of a safe house or something. And other parents went too. They would take gifts for their kids and they would see them for a couple of hours, I think. I don't remember how long. But it was in Angleton, and I had to see my girls there. It was so humiliating, I think. But at the time, I don't know, maybe it was humiliating. I know that at the time I was missing my girls so much, and I wanted to see them. I would take gifts and all that, and I would see other parents, and I would go to my group. And I'd share, the feelings and the thoughts. And man, I always shared a lot in my meetings. I don't know if you remember. I'd say all kinds of crazy shit, but like I still do. But I fast forward, right? And I get to the point to where my girls I'm released, or that thing is lifted, right? Time goes on and I'm staying clean. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Boom, boom, boom. Fast forward. And I get to where one summer, I told my daughter, hey, how long have you been here now? And she's like, I don't know, Dad. I've been here. I was like, man, I think you've been here like 2 or 3 months. I was like, when are you going home? I told my daughter that, my youngest Ricky. And I remember for a moment, man, I had this moment of clarity going, this is what I've always wished for. This is what I was fighting for, man.
Right.
Because, and what brought that memory to me, Cindy, was that somebody shared that we're in there. They're like down in the dirt, man, wearing an ankle bracelet. They couldn't see their kid. They had to go through the same process that I went through, right? We paid our dues. We're paying our dues, man. Right. But everything gets better with a little bit of time. This is what I want to tell our audience, man, that with little time and patience, we get it all back, man. It starts coming back. Some of us a little slower, a little bit faster than others. This guy was sharing about how much he missed his kids and that he was never going to see him again. And then here's where the beauty is about going to meetings and being the newcomer, being the most important person in either AA or NA meeting. They have to hear this. This show is here to show them that we do recover, man. We do recover. The lie is dead, Cindy. The lie is dead, old. We can live fulfilling lives as parents, as brothers, sisters. And I'm going to tell you that this is what I shared. I'm going to tell you and I'll shut up, that I shared that with the newcomer. They were talking about how they lost their children. I said, just give it some time. I shared that story with them, man. And after the meeting, they came to me and they said, listen, man, Cruz, I had to hear that. I need to know there's hope for me, man. I need to know that I will get my children back, because the state of Texas doesn't want my children. They don't want to have to be forking out money, but I do need to prove to myself and to them and to everybody else that I do deserve a second chance, and that I can be in their lives. And by staying clean and keeping my side of the whatever clean and whatever, right and straight. So I told the guy that story, man, and by telling him, going, hey, man, so now in the beginning, I missed you. Now you're here all the time. Go home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get from that to that, man, with some clean time, there is hope. Read that out. Who do we have? Raul or Cindy? Who can read this?
Let Sydney do this one. But Brenda, we want to just tell you, this is every Wednesday we do this show.
Yeah. You want me to?
Yeah, read it, Cindy. Yeah, somebody read it, Cindy.
I wished my son met you all before getting sick. Drinking gave my 41-year-old son severe pancreatitis, ended up in ICU after 2 weeks. He aspirated and took them over 40 minutes to bring him back. It's been a long 2 years. He now has short-term memory loss, but God knows he would have not made it today any other way. He needs y'all. Thank you so much for sharing. He's enjoyed this time to know he's not alone.
Absolutely.
And that's the miracle.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing that with us, Brenda.
You know,
I love that, man.
Strength and hope.
Yes, and that's what it is. What's up, Shannon? you got to be on this show, brother. I definitely want to hear your story.
Yeah, come on.
He's a musician.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh, I
sings
bet he's
great,
got some
man.
stories, man.
Man,
Those
he's
musicians.
great. He says he loves being sober.
Yes.
It is
Good
great,
one.
man. It is a great thing that we have that sobriety, man. Clean time is beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
the softer way to live, man.
with that, you got any closing statements?
Well,
'Cause
Cindy,
this-
Cindy, our
Cindy-
guest, man, tell us how you keep doing it, man. We want to hear how you keep doing it.
I practice these principles. I get up, I pray, I meditate, I get out of my own way, and I try to be useful. I was not useful, and I try to just happened. I try to just share my experience, truth, and hope, and hopefully someone can relate and they can latch onto it. And that's I do that every day, and so far it's
so far
working.
so good.
Yeah,
so
I'm
far
gonna
so
keep
good.
doing
So
it.
far 100%, man.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So what are you gonna do for the what are you planning for not Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's over. That was last month.
New
Year's Eve.
Man.
Both of you.
I don't know. I might
No tamales.
no tomorrow.
No he's still stuck on the damn tamales.
Yeah.
That everybody else can eat tamales but me. Yeah.
I don't know yet.
No?
We'll see. I might hang out with my kids.
Pop fireworks, maybe. Yeah.
something
Get a
like
big
that.
old fine. Yeah. I think I'm
right.
gonna get a fine for New Year's Eve. I'm gonna pop some fireworks here.
Here?
Yeah.
We
I
can
think.
come over here.
Come
so
on,
you,
man.
So you can get a fine.
Just
too.
come on. We'll do it. We do it. We do it big. We do it
Yeah.
big. Absolutely.
Hey, shout
Man,
out.
it's been an hour
Yeah,
already.
shout out to Greg. Hey, we appreciate you listening and tuning in.
What's up, Greg? All
And-
right, man. I'm
And
glad you could join
Shannon
us.
says I've gotten better. Therapy out. Last year sobriety. True
Yeah.
story, man.
Right on.
Congratulations.
Right on. Right on.
Hey, with that, guys, it's been a great story.
Cindy. All right,
Great
Cindy.
time.
And she didn't have, she was like, man, I don't have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, she was a little nervous. But she did,
Yeah.
she did
I think you've done
awesome.
this before, Cindy.
I have
Yeah.
not, but-
You did great, man.
She
All
did
right. Thank you
awesome.
for coming, man. Hey, look, I do want to say that I know you're very busy, Cindy. And I know you keep a very tight schedule, and we really appreciate you coming and joining us, man. It's been a pleasure and it's been an honor. And I'm going to tell you, man, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and accepting our invitation. Again, you're from my group and from early on when I first came in, man, and it's been a pleasure, to watch you. And I bumped into you at different places in town, and I haven't talked to Raul about that. But I have a certain place in you guys. When I first came in, I have a special place in my heart, man, and you're part of that. You really is, and I am so grateful to have met you, and I'm glad that we're doing this thing together,
Yeah.
man. We're recovery brothers, man, and
Right.
sisters.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Thank you. It's been an honor and privilege to be able to give some experience, strength, and hope.
Well, you've helped some people, man. Look, a lot of
Yes.
people are talking about it. They really love your story.
Hey, Brenda
Yeah.
said, keep rocking. You're a
Keep rocking
beautiful
and
person.
rolling, Cindy. Right on. Absolutely. So yeah, that's the show for today, right, Raul?
Yeah, with that, guys, if you missed it, be sure to check us out on every podcast platform as of tomorrow morning. If you liked it, share it, like it, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We appreciate everything. Hey,
Absolutely.
and Ricky,
Yeah. The lie is dead.
the lies dead.
What do we do, Cindy?
We
We do
We do
recover.
recover.
Right on.